going to be a long season.
I feel like we can run the table. I really do.
Giants looking for a stop. They're going to air it out. Rodgers does this better than anybody. End zone, Cobb, touchdown! Unbelievable! This to send the Packers into the NFC Championship game. It is good! The Packers are moving on. Aaron Rodgers has done it again.
Grassy Posse Packer Nation! Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom Grassi, coming to you directly after the Packers lose to the Saints 26-17, and oh boy, that was something. That was just like being tortured, and just, like just getting little paper cuts and just slowly bleeding out on the floor because, that was rough. It just seemed like a slow, painful death. But let's talk about it, because in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, I had some optimism for this game. It looked good. The defense was playing well. They had 2 interceptions in the first half. Breeze looked uncomfortable. Aaron Jones had a hell of a day. 17 for 131 and a touchdown. Looked amazing. Monty, again, not looking so strong. I don't know if it's because of the ribs. It's obviously, that is a very painful injury, and it's going to take time to heal from. But it looks like we've kind of at least gone with Aaron Jones, and I wouldn't be surprised if Montgomery loses his starting job to Aaron Jones, considering how well he has been playing. The guy just runs hard. Speaking of the defense, their second half performance was pretty bad, but I mean, holding the Saints to 26 points, it could have been worse in that sense. But let's talk about Brett Hundley. So Brett Hundley played smart. He was very conservative. He made plays with his legs. He had a touchdown. He had 44 rushing yards. He had a touchdown through that. He was 12 for 25. So he only completed about half of his passes, 87 yards, and an interception, which, it was a mistake. Watching Brett Hundley play, I'm not ready to be like, oh my God, he's like the worst quarterback ever. We need to call someone right now. But I want Packers fans to understand that this is the kind of stuff that should make you feel very humble right now, because Aaron Rodgers is a one-of-a-kind quarterback, and this is what a Packers team looks like without Aaron Rodgers, and it doesn't feel good. And I know that we take winning for granted. I've heard that from every other fan base who's ever come on the show, that the Packers are very lucky. And if you couldn't acknowledge that today, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. But this team is a different team without Aaron Rodgers. It's a less fun team to watch. The offense is stagnant. I mean, you're not seeing Rodgers putting up only 87 yards. The last time I think that he did that poorly was against the Broncos a few years ago. But it made me miss him, because the mistakes that were made, the conservative play calling didn't help in any way, shape, or form. But I feel like with the way that the Saints defense was playing, Rodgers would have destroyed this team. It wouldn't have even been close. Rodgers could have at least put up 30 points, and I think that their defense would have been on the field longer. But this was rough. This was rough. I mean, in the first half, you have interceptions, and it's 3rd and 1, and you can't convert on either of those, either by throwing a short pass to Devontae Adams because the offensive line didn't give him any time, or by running the ball with Aaron Jones, and you couldn't do it. And so that's the offense needs to be able to convert. I mean, because if we're relying on the Packers defense, if you're a Packers fan, you can never rely on the Packers defense, and they played pretty well today. I mean, my hat's off to them. Again, the second half performance was a lot worse, and especially in the fourth quarter, they kind of just threw in the towel. But this team was, this was a rough loss to watch. I've already seen that people are saying, we need to call Tony Romo. We need to get another quarterback in. I don't know if that's going to happen. You have a bye week coming up, which I think everybody needs it. It's more time. The more time that Hundley has to prepare and get better will be overall better for the Packers. This is his first start. I'm not ready to throw him under the bus because, again, the kid played his ass off. Let's be honest. But it's definitely not Aaron Rodgers, nor I think we could expect it to be. But it's gonna be a rough go ahead for the rest of the season if this is what it looks like. So that being said, the wide receivers couldn't get involved with it. Jordy, I think, had like one catch. Devontae had like one or two catches. Cobb had a couple. Bennett, dropping balls still. Oh, man, this is rough. And I can't blame it all on Hundley because the play calling for a lot of it was garbage. I mean, like you have, first down, you get stuffed with the run. Second down, you run it again, and they get stuffed, and you force Brett Hundley, a rookie in a sense of like this is his first starting game, to be forced into throwing on like 3rd and 10, 3rd and 20, 3rd and 15. That's never going to end well. And so I think McCarthy put him in a corner. And I don't think Hundley impressed anybody in the sense of what he was able to do with his arm. I think that he made plays when he could, but he was extremely limited by the calls that were being put in place for him. So, other news, Rodgers is officially on IR. He technically could come back week 15. There's reports out there, I don't know their validity, saying that he can be throwing by 6 weeks in. I think it all depends on what this team is able to do. If we're in the playoff hunt, and it's a very real possibility that we're going to be in the playoffs, then Rodgers is going to do everything that he can to return this season. If not, sit him for the rest of the year. And I know that sucks, and I know it's going to be boring football, and no one wants to watch that, but, if Rodgers has 3 to 5 years left, you do not want to rush him back, especially with an injury to his throwing arm, and potentially risk the rest of his career. So, the Vikings and the Bears both won, so we're going to continue to drop. The Vikings are going to be in first place. I mean, what do you think? Do we call a quarterback? I'm in the no camp, because who are you going to call? I mean, I just don't think that right now you're going to have a better starter who knows the system better than Hundley. Even if you call a guy in like Romo or Kaepernick, it's going to take time for them to learn the system. And even if you call a guy like Romo, I mean, that guy has back problems, and with the offensive line right now not looking as great as it has been, even though Bulaga and Bakhtiari played today, he's also a risk too. So you're going to be spending millions of dollars for a potential injury. And that's if even Romo wants to come back. He's doing very well at CBS. But what do you think? I mean, this was an ugly game to watch. I'm very glad that next week I don't have to watch it on a bye week. I'm not giving up the season because, again, the Saints are a good team. It's just, I think the thing that bothers me the most is, like, I know what Aaron Rodgers could have done to this Saints team, and I know that they could have won. And it's just, it puts a damper on the season so much. Like, I was so wanting Minnesota, and it just seems like it's going to be incredibly difficult to get there. I really wanted to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, everyone does, but this year I felt like we had it. So who knows? It's not over yet. We'll see. What do you think? Should we call QBs? How do you think Hundley looked? Do you blame any of it on McCarthy? Let me know your thoughts. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com. That's TomGrossi Comedy, or Tom Grossi Comedy on the Twitter. Check out Packcast, Packast. It's this podcast. We're on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes twice a week. And this week we're going to do something a little special. He'll be the silver lining. So this week, instead of having a guest, this has been asked of me for the past 3 years. We're gonna do a tour of the man cave, where I'm gonna break it down for you. I'm gonna show you every nook and cranny, every autographed piece of merchandise I have, all the Brett Favre images, everything. You're gonna see the whole shebang. We'll do that for you. We'll pick up our spirits a little bit. So stay tuned. It'll be on this channel on Thursday. Check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi, and as always, go Pack Go.